Welcome to Kim's Kitchen. Happy Friday. I'm excited about today's menu. And I'm actually hungry too, so I can't wait to get it done so I can eat. I'm gonna show you a little bit what I'm doing. This week's prep work, my lessons at lunch, led up to this. My lessons at lunch are on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. So if you haven't seen them, you'll have to check them out. So I have ribeyes right here, and they're ready to go. I have some zucchini, avocado, some fresh rosemary because it was ready to pick in my garden. And I think earlier this week I used oregano, but I switched it to rosemary. This is my secret sauce that I'll talk about in a little while. I always have onions because that's my favorite thing. I would marry them. That's how much I love sauteed onions. So here we go. Coconut oil, my secret ingredient. And then I have some sweet potatoes. We're gonna head out to the Blackstone a little later, but right now I'm gonna show you what we're doing here. So I have the ribeyes and they have been prepped for about 3 days in the back of my fridge, dried off, wrapped in paper towels. I brought them out today. They've been sitting on the counter. I'm going to do some fresh zucchini and I'm going to cut them on the bias because that's how I like them. My kids like them in coins, but if you cut them on the bias, you kind of make a little angle with your zucchini. Ooh. And that way you get a little more meat when you cut it. And that's how I'm going to do the zucchini when I throw it on the grill. And I'm going to use a little bit of the coconut oil and some rosemary and some salt and pepper. So I have a few already cut and some of them are in coins because that's what my kids like. But I'm gonna put those over here. Just want to show you that on the bias means they're cut like this. So they're a little thicker. You can't even see me because my knife's in my face. So a little thicker this way and a little bit more meat and less skin on them. Okay, so with the sweet potatoes, I parboiled them. And those of you that are newbies, I just took a pot of water, boiled it with some salt, brought it to a boil, peeled my sweet potatoes, cut them in chunks about the same size, and I brought them to a boil and cooked them so they weren't completely done, but done enough that they're not gonna take me 5 hours on the Blackstone to cook them. So now I'm going to cut them so they're in chunks, a little smaller. And then I will throw them on the grill and I will show you what I'm doing with them in a little bit. Okay, so earlier in the week, we did the avocado trick. So you put your knife in and then you twist the avocado, not the knife, and then you can twist your avocado and it comes out. So today I already have that done. I have them out and I'm going to slice them about 1/4 of an inch thick. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slices out of each avocado half. Now we're gonna head out to the Blackstone. Okay, now we are outside on the Blackstone. This was a Mother's Day present to me and I love it. It brings me back to my restaurant days because it's like cooking on the flat top in the kitchen. So I brought my steaks out. I'm gonna throw them on the grill. I did not trim them when I wrapped them in the paper towels and put them on the back of the fridge. When I brought them out today, they're ready to go. So they just have some olive oil and salt on them. Now I'm gonna sear them really good on each side, probably about 4 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes, because they're a good cut, about 1 inch thick. So then I'm going to take my onions that I told you I loved, and I'm gonna throw them on the grill. And I'm just gonna put them up here in the corner. So I want them to saute and caramelize the whole time because that's the way I like them. And I talked about my coconut oil, which is kind of my secret recipe, right? I use it for everything. So I'm gonna put some of that, oops, slipped out. I'm gonna put that up on the onion. And then I'm also gonna throw a little bit here. And this is where I'm gonna do the zucchini. So we'll get that sauteing around a little bit. Can you hear the ribeye sizzling up? It's delicious. What a great meal this is gonna be. So taking my zucchini, throwing that on the grill. I'm kind of keeping it away from the meat until it's cooked, right? I have a lot of people that live here. So there's 7 of us that live here. Those of you that don't know me. So we got the grill going with the zucchini. That kind of fills up my grill, right? I gotta get this coconut oil sauteing up in there in the corner. 3 or 4 minutes for my ribeyes. What you really want to do is you want to have a you want to be able to have a good sear on them, and they should be able to come up pretty quickly. So I have my grill set on about medium. I'm just going to let it cook for a while. Throw a little onion powder and a little garlic powder, not salt, because I'm going to go ahead and add salt and pepper to my zucchini. And if you do garlic powder and onion, or garlic salt and onion salt both, and then trying out a little salt and pepper, it's just too salty. So I like to use the powder. Then, if you recall, I cut my rosemary from my garden earlier today, and I'm gonna kind of sprinkle that in. Whoa, sprinkle that in because I diced that up already. So that is going on my zucchini. As that cooks up, I'm gonna go ahead and flip my ribeyes. That was still, ooh, this part of the grill isn't nearly as hot, I guess, as the others. So you kind of have to wait until, see how this was kind of sticking? So you kind of have to wait until it comes up pretty easy. Then you'll know it's done. So these are all kind of still stuck. I'm gonna saute my onions, got my zucchini going, and then you know my parboiled sweet potatoes? I'm gonna throw them on right now. They're already pretty much cooked. So these just kind of, I want them to warm up. And then get that, I want that sugar in the potato to start to crystallize and caramelize just like the onions. Now, I'm gonna put the sauteed onions probably on everything. On my steak, on my potatoes, on my zucchini, probably everything. I'm gonna let this sit for a little while. And then, we'll flip it. Okay, I think everything's about ready to flip. So, look at that. Look at that nice brown sear on that ribeye. I did use the spatula a little bit to see. Perfect, right? Take a look at this one. That one I flipped a little too early, so I'll have to flip it back. Not a big deal. We'll fix it. So I'm going to flip the zucchini. Oh my gosh, you guys. It smells so good. And you know when you cook and you're hungry, it's even more so. So take a look at these zucchini pieces. See how they're kind of, they have that nice grill on them also. I love that. And I like them so they're still a little crunchy, right? You don't like them when they're super soggy. So, I am grilling these up. Making sure that they're not all burned on one side and not cooked on the other. Flattening them out a little bit. There we go. So now I'm going to do a flip on these sweet potatoes. See how that? Like it takes me a minute to pull underneath it. Flipping those over. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of my rosemary right on those also. Yummy. The best part of summertime is all the new herbs. You know, I have this garden and I like to brag that I have a garden. Really, it's just herbs. It's herbs and tomatoes. I do have some red peppers in there. Well, peppers, right? You saw my video? Around a little bit. They're ready to go. Okay, this, not something probably everybody does, but I'll tell you, it's so good with what I'm pairing with. I want to take my avocado that I sliced earlier, and I'm going to lay this on my grill. See how it's doing that? Ooh, you got to be careful, because I did put a little coconut oil underneath too. I probably wouldn't have had to, because avocados are so fatty. Well, it's a good fat, right? So there you go. Putting these on here. I'm going to just let them sear real quick. Let them sit there. I took them all. I've taken the steaks up. I've got the potatoes just finishing up, getting a little crustier. Of course, my onions are on because I like them super caramelized. I'm just going to let these sit here for a minute. The whole point of it is to get them a little warm all the way through and a little crunchy on the outside. You know, avocado is very soft, right, texture-wise. So we're gonna I'm gonna flip these now. That was kind of a weird flip, wasn't it? So there we go. See, look at that. See how they're nice and browned up? Kind of crazy to even think about grilling an avocado, right? So, got them nice and grilled. I'm gonna start taking everything up and we'll plate it in the kitchen. Okay, I've pulled the steaks off of the grill and I'm gonna let them rest for about 5 minutes before I plate them. That way they kind of settle and they get up to the right temperature. Look at that nice crust, it's kind of crispy. I'm gonna put that on the side of my plate. And check out this zucchini. Oh my gosh, zucchini's kind of bland. So you need a lot of herbs on it. So garlic and the onion and the salt. Get it a little crispy and I'll put that on my plate. And then check out these sweet potatoes on the flat top. See how it gets that little crunch on it? That brown sear? Yum, so good, right? So then, earlier you saw that I roasted some garlic and I roasted some shallots. I went ahead and cleaned the garlic and some shallots and I did it quite a bit because I like to make extra so I can keep it in the refrigerator. So that's about 2 full cloves, heads of garlic, and about 6 shallots. Now I'm going to put about 1/3 cup of olive oil in there. And I'm going to mix that around. And I'm going to put this on a baking sheet. I did put a liner on it. I'm going to spread that out just so it's fully covered because those shallots are pretty big. I actually might go ahead and split them apart. And then I'm going to put it in the oven for about 25 minutes. And then I'll get it out and we'll puree it in the Ninja. That, my dear, is the secret puree. So this has been sitting with the foil over it. I'm gonna put this on the steak across the center like this. I'm also gonna put this little bowl on too in case people want more. Like me, I like a lot of this. This is just the garlic, shallots, olive oil, salt and pepper. And then I am going to take some of these grilled avocados, a little sweet potato there, and I'm going to lay it across the top, just 3 pieces. And voila,